wire to create different pieces that hang off or attach together. So let's start with attaching wire together. So I have a couple pieces here that I've worked with in previous videos. We have a spiral with a hook at the end, so this would be something that I could easily attach onto something else because it has that hooked element. And then I also have this piece which I did some hammering work on. So let's say I wanted to add a little bit of decorative detail to this, maybe some color to switch it up. This is a great place to use some of our colored wires. These are typically copper on the center, but then they have a color coating. So if you do manipulate the wire too much with any of these ones that are brightly colored, you can lose some of that color on the surface. These are also not strong enough for you to do any annealing with, so no heating elements with these wires. But one of the nice things you can do is if you want to add some other color to your piece, let's say I wanted to do a little wire wrapping around this one. I can take a piece of this wire, and I want to take more than I think I'll need so that I have the ability to hold on to an extra piece. And anytime you're attaching two pieces of wire, you want to attach them to begin with in a perpendicular setting. So you're thinking of making a cross, a 90-degree angle. And if you look, I'm actually holding a little wire on this side and a lot on the other. This is because you need a handle to hold on to it. So the first loop I'm going to do, I'm just trying to get it attached. Now for something like this, it's also a good idea to have pliers nearby so that if you need to, you can actually pull on the wire with the pliers. This is just a way to make it a stronger connection. All right, so at this point I have it looped around one time. So if I would like to continue wire wrapping, I'm just going to very slowly continue to add that colored decoration. Now, some people might want to have an actual segment that's all that other color, so in that case you're putting it very close together. Some people might also like the look of having something that is a little more spread out, so you get to see some of the copper through. Now, any ends that you have, this is an important part. Anytime you're attaching two pieces of wire together, you never want to leave a sharp end where it could hurt somebody. So if you needed to, you could end this as a loop off to the side, or you can take your flat pliers or your needle nose pliers, work really well too. And you can just take and pinch it around so that the end sits right up against what you're working on. So this is a way to make it a lot safer so that you're not hurting anybody as you're going. Now on this other end, if I wanted to, I could snip any extra, I could keep wire wrapping, or I could do something decorative like making it into a spiral with my other tools. One other tip when you are attaching two pieces together, if you're trying to attach something tightly like this, and I go to use wire that's a lot thicker, so this is 18 gauge, if I wanted to attach it, let's say, onto this spiral that I have, it would be very difficult for me to get as tight of a loop because the wire is a lot thicker. So in this case, you might need to anneal it to make it softer, or you might need to pull it with two pairs of pliers to really, really attach it together. Now be cautious when you're using your pliers too. Sometimes it's good to cover the ends with masking tape so that you don't make any dents on the surface unless you're planning on adding texture or you want it to have a rougher look. So just some things to think about as you're attaching. Things like loops are always really good connectors. S-hooks kind of really help. But then also if you're doing the wire wrapping, just think perpendicular. All right, lastly, I promised I'd talk about how